Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 197. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benesowitz, and we are presented by DraftKings. Tuesday night, Nets and Knicks both in action. The New York Knicks 115-91 winners over the Charlotte Hornets. The Knicks now 10-7 and advance the quarterfinal round of the in-season tournament. Well, they will face the Milwaukee Bucks. Meanwhile, the Nets, they get a good win, 115-103 against the Toronto Raptors. Nets improved to 9-8, and for them, probably a team that they'll be fighting for later in the season. For some playoff jockeying position, or at least for that play-in tournament. So it's good to get that win. Nets fall short of the in-season tournament. They do not make it. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple, leave us a 5-star, give us a comment. I'm trying to do a better job of doing all of the call to actions in the beginning of the show, not the end, where only 78% of our listenership is, and not the full 100%. Alex, congrats on making the quarterfinals of the in-season tournament. How are you doing?
I'm so pumped up. I can't believe it. I'm really excited. I'm kidding. It's so stupid.
I love it.
In-season tournament is such fake excitement. Everybody's so excited. It's such a bunch of bullshit. Everybody's like, on Twitter now saying, "Oh, we need the Heat to lose. I can't, or to win. I can't believe it. I'm so excited." At the end of the game, the Knicks are blowing the Hornets out and they're running up the score and everybody's all excited. Oh, this helps the in-season tournament, but even Mike Breen can't explain why or how. Nobody knows, at all. It's just, it's the stupidest thing. Everybody's like, oh, this helps, win by more. It helps. Okay, why? Explain it to me. And you can't. It's the stupidest thing. And it's just like, all it's going to take is some major NBA player getting hurt, running up the score when they're up by 30 at the end of the fourth quarter in November to end this thing. It's just, and I hope it's not one of the Knicks. I hope it's not like Giannis or Luka or somebody that's like really great. I hope it's not anybody. I hope it really doesn't happen, honestly. But it's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's going to happen one of these days, and that's when it'll get shut down.
Well, yes, injuries will always happen. Now, will they shut that down if that happens? I don't think they will.
Maybe
I
that aspect of it.
I think they would take more. Right. Maybe they change some aspects of it. Can I explain to you the in-season tournament and how it exactly works? 100% no. I can't tell you why certain teams ended up being in the next round as opposed to other ones and how the tiebreakers actually did work. I can't tell you I've enjoyed it. I've gotten a kick out of it. I've liked to see the interaction, the excitement. I had Celtics fans, multiple Celtic fans, texting me because they needed the Nets to beat the Raptors, apparently, texting me, go Nets. And I had a lot of fun with it. Now, is it perfect? No. Do I understand it? Absolutely not. But I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to debate you on it and try to explain to you and persuade you why this is good and why people are getting into this and why this is good for the sport and all of that. But I can just tell you my gut reaction to it is I'm having fun with it. I like it. I'm enjoying it. I've got a smile on my face. I've got a pep to my step, and I like it. There's a buzz to it. You might not like it, but you can't argue with me that there's not a certain buzz with it. As you started your argument talking about how people were talking about how the Heat had to do this and the Heat had to do that, there's something to it. Now, I will say the good thing about the Nets not making the in-season tournament is that the Knicks now have to face the Bucks, and the Nets will get some team. I don't know who it is. I don't understand if it's in Brooklyn or on the road, but I know that they'll play a lesser opponent because it's a team that didn't make the in-season tournament. Now, that doesn't mean there still could be a great team that didn't make it, whatever. But the idea is, the Knicks have the Bucks early. Nets, who need wins, right? Because they're a team fishing for the playoffs. Hopefully it's a shitty team that the Nets get to play against.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was sleeping.
That's fine. Just, I can keep going.
Not because of you. Just talking about the in-season tournament. You know what it was? People were like, it was playoff intensity, at the Garden. No, it felt like a fucking Globetrotters game. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to hear like Globetrotters music going around and like, we're running in circles and passing it and dipping it around, shooting threes, throwing alley-oops, and, they're playing the generals. It was so stupid. And I just, you're going to go to Vegas and maybe I don't even know where they go. Are they a wild card? Are they this or that? Who the fuck cares? It's not even like our division teams. It's just some random group of teams in a group that was picked out of a hat and then explained by Richard Jefferson. And nobody really understands it. And that's the stupidest thing. It's not even like some actual tournaments, a round robin of groups. It's not even like double elimination tournament where you can like wrap your head around like, all right, we can't lose this one. It's like, all right, well, we're in a group and point differential matters and you got to win X amount of games. And then we're going to have a home court advantage in the next round. And then you might go to Vegas and then one game might not count towards a regular season. And it's just, it was weird because obviously I want the Knicks to win, but in the back of my mind, I was kind of hoping they lost. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't have to think about it anymore. We could just move on with the season. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Because I just don't want to have to. I don't want to deal with the hassle. I don't want to deal with they were up by so much at the end of this game. The Knicks game, they went up early. They crushed them early, and then the third quarter hit. The third quarter scaries, and they went down. Yeah. The Hornets came all the way back, and then they smacked them back in the third quarter, and they blew them away. And it was just. But then at the end of the fourth quarter, I know Tibbs doesn't rest players anyway. But at the end of the fourth quarter, now you're like chucking up threes, and you're showing up the opponent. It was just stupid. It's not.
I don't have a problem
with
it.
It's cockamamie bullshit. That's all to me.
I know. I mean, change is tough. Sometimes it's difficult when you're in the middle of seeing it. I do think there needs to be some things worked out with it, in particular, as you had talked about, so things don't get kind of wacky. Like, think about this for an example, Alex. Use promo code BWF with DraftKings, but for real, if you're betting over, if you're betting on totally, if there's a point total. Bet the over if if you start to understand how this works and you're now the quarterfinals is just going to be win-lose. But for example, tonight, if you know that a team needs to compile more points to get into this in-season tournament next round, they're most likely going to be trying to get extra points. Like the Nets beat the Raptors by 12 tonight. I think if it was a traditional game, they probably win between 4 and 7 with the fouling and, that somewhere in that range. Nets were up 8 with 58 seconds left. Whatever the end of would be, somewhere in that that ballpark, 10 points, whatever. But I think now you have to look at betting differently. You have to look at overs differently because points will be compiled. And I think if you're listening, maybe that's a way you could make some money. And I think it's going to change gambling a little bit.
Yeah, and points per game are going to go up for players because they're going to jack up more points at the end of games. And I mean, that helps players make more money, I guess. And, I don't think the players even care about the extra 500,000 that they could win in the championship. I think it's more for bragging rights, and they're just excited to go to Vegas and just gets, it's stupid. And like this year, I think people are into it. It's the first time, but I think give it a couple of years and it's just going to get dumber and dumber. And maybe they'll perfect it and make it even better. I've been saying this from the beginning when we first had this, like at least make it a in-season tournament portion of the season, like shut down the season. And now we're doing the in-season tournament and then the losers play each other and you move on. It just doing this whole, like there's 3 games this week and then there's an in-season tournament game. Then there's 4 or 5 games.
But
and
it drags it out, Alex.
It drags it out, but it doesn't. It's just strange. It's stupid. It's Globetrotter bullshit. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Just like we talked about in the offseason, you didn't like it. Now you're saying, next year people won't like it. These goalposts are up. You're taking them. You're using your Knicks muscles and you're moving them down the line. And I will tell you, Spencer Dinwiddie was asked about the $500K and he said, quote, that could pay for my Rolls Royce. So you might say guys don't care about the money, but let me tell you something,
in Bitcoin
Alex.
Again or whatever he did.
Let me tell you something, Alex. Everybody loves money. Okay,
500,000 is 500,000. 500,000.
I don't know what you're rolling in, man. So maybe it's not a big deal for you.
Listen, if somebody handed you $500, if $500 is $500, like you know what I mean? That's a nice $500 to get. I get it, but it's still.
I got you. I know.
Maybe it's from my sports fandom history of Mets, Jets, Knicks in my life and being 39 years old, where I'm so used to the worst possible thing happening. Darrelle Revis got hurt. Porzingis got hurt. Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Vinny Testaverde got hurt. David Wright got hurt. Johan Santana got hurt after throwing a no-hitter. Like, there's so many things. Mike Piazza always got hurt. It was always something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was always something. And now I am nervous that we're adding another wrinkle into this where something bad is going to happen. And I pray that it's not going to be somebody big. And I pray that it's not going to happen ever to the Knicks. That's all I'm saying. And it's something that it's just, we're going for nothing. It's fool's goal. Like, you know what I mean?
But it's yes, you have to, I think you have to keep in mind, don't get excited like, oh, we won a championship. I think it's just creating an excitement around the league. Tomorrow's going to be Wednesday, November 29th. You're probably listening to this episode that day. There will be more talked about the NBA on Wednesday, November 29th than has ever been talked about. And a lot of the conversation will be, I don't understand it. I don't get it, but I watched it. And that's going to be the conversation over and over and over again. And the dollars will be ringing in for the NBA as some people say how stupid it is, but yet the conversation will flow and people will talk about it and the buzz will continue to grow. So as much as people want to shit on it that want to, they're going to be successful from this. And there's no stopping this train right now. It just, but I will say, to play devil's advocate, don't get excited like, oh my God, we didn't get it. Like, if you're disappointed that the Nets didn't get in the in-season tournament, like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, that's why it means nothing.
I'm not saying it means, but it's fun. It's fun. I'm not here going like, man, I can't wait till next season so we can try to get that in-season tournament. Jacques Vaughn's really got to make adjustments in that first game.
It's the Snoopy Bowl, the Jets-Giants Snoopy Bowl. That's all this is.
Well, it's a regular season game. I mean, the Nets improved to 9-8. It was funny when OG Anunoby hit a three. It was 115-110, and Ian Eagle called it when he hit the three like it was a game winner. Like, oh,
Breen was doing the same shit.
Makes it 115-103, and the Nets only win by 12. But it was just fun, like playing up on.
I get it. Breen was doing the same thing, and Breen was doing the same thing. Not as sarcastic as Ian Eagle because he's way more sarcastic.
Funny. Oh, Ian was way sarcastic on it.
Breen was like, and there's a three from Quickly. And like, and the crowd there's a buzz, and nobody know. And I'm like, I'm in my head, I'm like, and nobody knows why. Like, we're just excited because they're virtual matters, and nobody gets it.
Yeah.
But there was one play, Quickly shot a three, and he missed it, and right the play before that, he hit a three, and then Randall got the offensive rebound, kicked it out to Quickly, and it's like, shoot it again. Like, who cares? Just shoot another three. We're up 30. Who gives a shit? You know, and like, it's just ridiculous.
Well, let's talk a little Nets and Knicks and get into the games a little bit. The Nets winners. No, Knicks winners. I'll say this for the Nets. It was a very tight game. They were up 8 at the half, back and forth, basically tied with about 4 minutes left. And the Nets pulled away late. And I want to give Jacques Vaughn credit for one thing he did in particular. The Nets were up 4, and the Raptors played hack a Nick Claxton because this was with like 2:37 to go.
Okay.
Clax makes the first, misses the second, Nets up by 5. Toronto then gets the ball, goes the other way. I don't remember exactly what happened. Maybe they cut it to 3 or 4. Jacques Vaughn then makes the substitution, gets Nick out of the game. Didn't fuck with it. He's like, if they're going to foul him, I'm not doing that. Puts Royce O'Neal in the game. Next possession, the Nets have the ball. Royce hits his 6th three of the night. Nets go up by 6. And that adjustment was key there. Not fucking around, keeping Nick Claxton in the game. The guy can't shoot free throws at all. Sub him out. When you get under 2 minutes, make the adjustment back. I was screaming at the TV. Take him out. You got to take him out. We can't mess around here. We have shooters. Vaughn did that. I was happy. Royce O'Neal, by the way, now back-to-back games with 6 3-point shots. He's become an incredible 3-point shooter all of a sudden. And the Nets have won 3 straight games. They're 9-8 on the season, and it sounds like Cam Thomas possibly for Thursday. And if not, he's coming back soon. So the Nets getting reinforcements.
Do you think Cam Thomas rushes back if there was an in-season tournament game coming up, or do you think he would take his time?
Stop. Nets are not fucking around with that. Nets are so slow with bringing guys back. No chance in hell they do that. Now I was watching the Nets, and then I had the Knicks on my phone, keeping a peek at that, and I was just like, all right, They're playing the Hornets, which sucks with the LaMelo Ball injury. That's just terrible news considering how well he had been playing with the young Hornets. So Knicks favored by 11. I'm thinking, they're up 12 at some point. This is going to just be a disgusting game, which it did turn to. But I was, thankful for the third quarter Knicks, and all of a sudden it was a game again. So thank you to the Knicks in the third quarter for just being a disaster there. Unfortunately, they had pride in the play-in tournament, ended up blowing the Hornets out. But I was hoping for that third quarter mess, and it came again.
It happened. And you know why? Because they don't play quickly. They don't start quickly, and they don't start quickly in the third quarter. And it just happens almost every game. I know that they had these scaries before, but they haven't started them before that anyway. It's just like, it's so stupid. It's like, it's really bad because Quentin Grimes is a really good player, good defensively. I like him. He's got a future, but he's not playing well. He's not scoring at all. He doesn't fit right now. I'm a broken record already, right? But it's bad when your starting shooting guard has only scored 4 more points than your backup center in the season. Than Isaiah Hartenstein. Literally, Quentin Grimes only scored 4 more points this season than Isaiah Hartenstein. That's insane. You know what I'm saying? So it's just wrap your head around that. Like, think about who's the backup center on the Nets. The backup center on the
Daron Sharp. He's been great.
Okay, but has he scored more points than the starting shooting guard for the Nets?
No, but he might have scored more points. He might have scored more points than Quentin Grimes. Now I got to look this up.
No, all right, I know Cam Thomas is not the starter, but the starting shooting guard for the Nets
tonight was Mikal.
But who is the usual starting shooting guard?
It'd be Cam.
But yeah, Cam outscored probably Quentin Grimes in 2 games this year.
Probably. Now I have to see the Daron Sharp total.
Go to the Nets stats on the Basketball Reference, and then you can go to total points, and you can scroll down. You can sort it that way, and that's how I did it. And I just looked at it yesterday, and I saw it was like 95-93 Quentin Grimes to Isaiah Hartenstein. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I know tonight Quentin Grimes scored 6 points and Hartenstein scored 4, so 2 + 4 is 4, whatever, the math. So it's crazy. And it's like so another dud of a night shooting for Quentin Grimes. He barely shoots, of course. 19 minutes, 6 points. Emmanuel Quickley, 26 minutes, 23 points. So at least the minutes are starting to get more more in Quickley's favor, because it was 25-25 for the longest time. And it's like, what are we doing? So, but of course, Quickley was running up the score at the end, popping threes. But anyway,
who do you think's more scored more points now? I have the total from tonight. I assume that it hasn't been adjusted yet, but you said 6 for Grimes.
6 for Grimes.
So I'm going to do the math. Okay, I've got 2 totals. Who do you think scored more? Daron Sharp, the backup center for the Nets, who has played more minutes because Nick Claxton's been hurt, so his minute total has gone up. But who do you think it is?
Sharp.
It's Sharp. Yeah.
Daron
scored more points.
Daron Sharp has scored more points than Quentin Grimes. The starting shooting guard for the Knicks has scored more points than Daron Sharp. Has not scored as much. I messed that up. See?
Well.
I can't even say it with a straight face. Daron Sharp, the backup center for the Brooklyn Nets, has scored more points this season than the starting shooting guard for the New York Knicks, which is Quentin Grimes. Wrap your head around that.
Here's 2 things I'll say. One, Daron Sharp's played very well as the backup big for that. He has taken a giant leap forward and has been much better. He's put up games where he's doubles, but here's my favorite stat. Quentin Grimes is there, and I'm, honestly, I just like shitting on the Knicks with you. We'll have fun doing this. So shout out to all the Knicks fans listening.
I like Grimes though. Don't get me wrong. I like Grimes. I like him.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Quentin Grimes 24 minutes a game. Daron Sharp 15.
That's embarrassing.
But hey.
But listen,
you're playing well. You're just nitpicking something.
I'm not nitpicking. I said it before the season. I said Quickley needs to start over Quentin Grimes. What are we doing here? When Quickley didn't get his contract, and now he has to be a restricted free agent after this season. I looked at the rotation. I'm just like, why the hell is Grimes the unquestioned starter at shooting guard? Like, what has he done to deserve the guaranteed shooting guard spot? I know Quickley is technically a point guard, but he's the flex. Just like, like Brunson is. Just like Jason Kidd and Felton was when the Knicks won 54 games. Like, they started 2 point guards then too. So don't tell me that you can't be successful with 2 point guards in the starting lineup, because you can. So it's just silly to me, and it's just stubbornness, and it doesn't really matter if Quickley continues to play more minutes and it keeps going up and up and up. It's just at this point, at what point do you just say, okay, fine? You know what I mean? It's just stupid.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Tom Thibodeau with his Knicks, with the head coach of the Knicks, has a track record of doing these type of things. And,
right.
I think the the number one answer for this is Elfrid Payton, who would play games and then like not be like would start and then never play.
Right.
He has a thing with the starters where he likes to do this. And I'm sure for him, I don't know if Knicks beat reporters have asked him this, but he must like the idea of, quickly coming off the bench and adding a little pop and giving them a scoring dimension in the second unit, which helps, which Quentin Grimes isn't going to give you. But when you pair him around a lot of different scorers in Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, who had the monster game tonight with 25 and 20, he feels more comfortable doing that. The problem is, to your point, when they're starting third quarters and they're a disaster, it doesn't really, you're going to that bench to get you out of the shit that happened. And at that point, that's where I would, as a fan, be like, all right, now we got to start thinking about adjustments. If this in theory makes sense, but if it's not working in the third quarter, that is a problem. And like you said, I mean, it's all about who's going to close out games. Starter is just the starter. It's all about who's going to be out there in the fourth quarter and who coach feels most comfortable with. And, if you're in need of scoring and you need to, like, I'll tell you this, if I'm a net fan and I'm watching the Knicks play and it's the fourth quarter, I sure as hell rather it be Quentin Grimes than Emmanuel Quickly out there. Now I say that now and fucking Quentin Grimes is going to hit a shot at the buzzer to win. I know it's going to happen. But
no, he won't.
You know what I mean? I mean, if I'm a net fan watching this, I'd rather have that lineup as opposed to Quickly, who can get a bucket at any moment, and is
he's a legitimate NBA player.
Yeah, who can score, who can score points. So that's how I feel about the situation. But the Knicks win. They're 10-7. Randall, a monster game.
Just so let me ask you something. If Mikal Bridges got hurt in a 30-point game at the end of an in-season tournament game, would you be happy about the in-season tournament?
I'm sorry, you broke up. What was that?
Did I really?
No, you know the answer. Of course not.
That's what I'm saying. That's all.
Of course. No, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, I just think it's healthy for the league and people are having fun with it. But of course,
whatever.
Mikal tonight, 22 points.
He's been great.
10 rebounds, 5 assists. He's picked up his game of late. Big game for Dinwiddie again, he didn't shoot well tonight, but Dinwiddie, 23 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. Claxton, 15-8, 4 blocks. And then Royce O'Neal.
Mitch had 5 blocks. See, he's better.
Nick, 15-8 and 4. Nets got a good contribution from Royce O'Neal. My favorite stat, he was 6 of 12 from the field. He was 6 of 12 from 3. He's just chucking up threes. But he's hitting these things. Royce O'Neal, you
shoot 50% from 3. Keep shooting.
Oh, yeah. and big clutch ones, too. He carried them in the fourth quarter. He probably made 3 or 4 of those threes in the fourth quarter. And he had that big game earlier in the week.
Right.
I guarantee you Royce O'Neal's in the 3-point shooting contest this year.
Really?
And
he doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
He's the guy that just does awful. Like Randall when he did it last year or 2 years ago. He's not going to do well. Royce O'Neal has like a 37% field goal percentage this year. Mm-hmm. And you might be like, that's terrible. But he just shoots threes. So it's a little bit it's not good, but it's not like it's a little misleading because every shot he takes is a 3-pointer.
Yeah. And if I had to tell you one person, one ex-net, and gave you stats, would you be able to guess it, do you think?
Ex-net. So not on the team?
Not on the team anymore. He's played 7 games. He's averaging 3.4 points per game.
Joe Harris.
Yeah. the worst team in the NBA. He's only played 7 games this year.
I knew it.
And he is completely fallen off a cliff. It's insane. And I don't know. When you said 3-point shooters, that just clicked in my head. And Joe Harris.
Got old fast.
Yeah. And he's only 32. What
but
happened?
Injuries.
Yeah.
He's got injuries. And they just, when they hit
that open 3 in the playoffs, and he's never the same. That's just what. Oh, sorry.
That's the difference. That's why the Nets are better this year. They have more depth.
Yeah.
Lonnie Walker, Day'Ron Sharp's improved. Watford's been good. Nets have depth. They haven't had Cam Thomas. They haven't had Ben Simmons, which
Ben Simmons is done. Don't even think about him. He doesn't
You're not, but Cam Thomas you can think about.
Cam Thomas is coming back, and he's a borderline. He's a stud.
He's a scorer. Yeah, you want to just see his development. So it's funny because he goes out, and you're like, "Fuck, he's out." You get it sucks, right? The guy that's playing the best on your team.
It's exciting. Sure. Yeah.
But then that struggle a little bit. And now you see them starting to play well without him. And now your mind's like, okay, how are you going to integrate him back into something that's been successful? And I know you got to do it, obviously. But, now we'll see how he's paired in back with Mikal Bridges. And it's so fun watching the Nets as they win these games. And they're 9-8. They had a little struggle on a 3-game losing streak. That's when they played good teams. Now they played shittier teams at home with the Bulls, the Raptors, and I'm forgetting.
They were in their group. Well, whoever's in their group, they played them a bunch of times, right?
They beat the Magic. The Magic haven't lost since they lost to the Nets.
The Magic are awesome, dude.
The Nets beat them.
Yeah, it's just all of a sudden. I know it's early. It's early, but the Magic have been great, and Banchero has come on strong lately too. And we can go inside Magic if you want.
I'd love to.
We always do that. We always say that. Make that joke.
I'd love to.
That's why I always laugh about that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. As a Nets fan, you got to look forward to Cam Thomas coming back. And Cam Johnson, when the hell is he coming back? Is he back yet? Or
he's been back. He's been playing well. He missed some. He had cramps, so I
thought he was out for a while. I confuse my Cams often. The Cams be confusing.
Like Nick, that's what I'm saying. Like the Nets don't last game. Nick Claxton's out. Cam Thomas. They just keep winning. I'll tell you who's terrible and is in a worse position. This is team. The Chicago Bulls at 5-14 are a disaster. At least the Pistons and the Wizards,
they're rebuilding. The Pistons are rebuilding. Yeah, they had this first year with Monty Williams. They have a bunch of top picks. They're just trying to just piece it together with Alec Burks and Kevin Knox.
The Bulls, they got to trade everybody away.
Yeah,
they have to. They have to
DeRozan, free DeRozan, free Levine, get them out of there.
Get Vucevic, just compile the draft picks and start fresh. Because if you're going to be this bad anyway, what's the point?
Right. Well, Lonzo Ball getting hurt. Killed him. Just crushed this whole era that could have been a very good team. They might not have won a title, clearly, but they could have won a couple rounds here and there and been a fun team. The Bulls had to do it because they were so bad for so long, after the Derrick Rose era, that they had to put together a playoff team just to reset the deck. You know what I'm saying? They were so bad. And sometimes you just have to go for it as an organization. Even if you're not going to win a title with the squad, you have to,
And shout out to Leon Rose for staying the course and just building through Randall and the development of RJ Barrett and the great selection of Jalen Brunson. This is what makes the Eastern Conference so difficult, Alex, is the Celtics 14-4. Then you got the Magic at 12-5, the Bucks at 12-5, the Sixers at 12-5, the Miami Heat at 10-7. That was the team that the Nets beat, but they beat the Heat without everybody. No Jimmy Butler, no Bam Adebayo, no Tyler Hero, no Duncan Robinson. I mean, it was a layup win. God damn, Jimmy Butler should have hit that shot versus the Knicks. I swear to God that was in. Then you got the Knicks, Pacers, both at 9-7. Cavs, Nets 9-8. So I mean, there's just the Eastern Conference is tough. The Magic are better and the Pacers are better. And basically that's going to make the East a lot more difficult.
It is. And there's the Magic have really changed the East a little bit, being good. Porzingis was hurt for a little bit too for the Celtics, so that kind of, which is nobody's surprised. But it's, I don't know. There's another story I want to talk about, the Josh Giddey thing. Have you heard about this?
Yes, of course.
Giddey? I'm just making sure because we haven't talked about it. Texting.
I'm not going to lie and tell you I know every single detail. I don't know everything that's come out, but I mean,
it's bad.
It's real bad.
He had a relationship or slept with a 16-year-old,
which is fucking terrible.
And he, I'm not defending it in any way. He just turned 21 like a month ago, which it doesn't excuse it because she's 16 or 15 or whatever it was. So if she was 17, 18, then you can wrap your head around it. But it's when you go under 17, you're a pro NBA player. You can get any girl you want. What are you doing? You know? So, and even then Andrew Bogut today, who was his Australian, brother, the original Australian basketball player, said that OKC has been aware of his misconduct from what he's been told for the last year. They've known about it. They don't have any concerns. So basically they've been trying to cover it up, so this story has legs. This is, Well, there's still a lot of more information to learn. And I think, to be fair,
to everybody involved, that should happen because of the severity and the
the age.
Age. You don't want to just the proper actions need to be taken to figure it out because of just how gross and terrible and disgusting it is. It did make me. It just, man, the Nets were in so many like scandals and bad stories, and it just was like they're so irrelevant now. I'm so happy for that.
I told you to be happy. I told you.
Oh, and just
this is such a Nets story from the last 3 years. Something like this would happen.
Nets are just
they're just doing their thing.
They're just 9-8, and no one's gonna know, right? But all 17 of us.
I have to pay attention to them a little more. I'll be honest. I haven't watched many Nets games. I watched a couple. I've popped in here and there, seeing the highlights. But like I just said, like Cam Johnson, you know what I mean? I have to pay attention a little more to them because without the big three, quote unquote, it's been not as easy to pay attention to them from afar.
Because you don't hate them as much.
I don't hate them as much. I'm not following what their games are. I do follow them. I have Mikal Bridges on my fantasy team. He was my first round pick. But it's just overall, I'm gonna be a little better with that. You know what I'm saying? Good. So like I want to. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so it's like good. It's the Nets are good. I mean, they're gonna be a playoff team. Where they're gonna be, what seed that remains to be seen. But they can be around a 6 seed if they really, if things break right for them.
Here's why for the Nets, and we'll break down a little early actions in the standings because why the fuck not? The Hornets, Bulls, Wizards, and Pistons are all atrocious. And LaMelo Ball, now I'll say that and they'll beat the Nets on Thursday. Nets Hornets Thursday. Check it out. Yes Network. Those teams aren't going to make the playoffs. The Raptors are 8-10. The Hawks are 8-8. The Hawks are the 10 seed. The Nets are the 9 at 9-8. It's going to be, now I don't know if they're going to make the top 6, but you can just see like the play-in is there for them. There's no reason they should not be in that play-in.
Unless there's injuries, like big injuries.
But that's for anybody.
That's for anybody. But yeah, there's absolutely no reason for them not to be, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because those other, like I said, everybody outside of the Raptors, those other teams are not winning basketball games.
Yeah.
They're just not.
I have nothing to say.
But you see what happens too when you get through the difficult part of your schedule. See for the Knicks too. Like the Nets had that terrible start. Now of their difficult teams. Now you got Miami not playing anybody. You get the win versus the Raptors tonight. They're playing regular teams at home, and it's not like, all right, we're at Boston, we're at Milwaukee. Now we're at. It was like, oh my god, this doesn't end. So it's nice. And now you got to go ahead and take care of business Thursday, home against the Hornets. I love when you get the Knicks the game before, and then they come to Barclays because they are in New York City.
Right.
Have fun.
They millionaires. They went out. There's no way they didn't go out.
The Hornets are going out tonight.
Oh yeah,
they're partying. I mean, it's a Tuesday. Now I don't know what.
I don't think LaMelo's there.
They're in New York City.
He would party.
I love that. I love the Knicks the night before because you're in New York and you're here. Have fun.
Especially somebody like Brandon Miller. It's a rookie, first time overnight in New York City, probably. You know what I mean? Like, of course he's going out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if they go out, for an early night, they're going out and they're going to drink. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's going to happen. It's not like tomorrow's a day game either. So they're going to go out, but they'll be fine.
But I'm just saying, I love when it's Knicks, then Nets. And you get the
you got the Heat resting Jimmy Butler, right? The day after
Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. Yeah. I mean, the Heat
I paid attention to the Nets. Heat
are a little different without those two guys. They're not as good, in my opinion, when they don't play.
Right.
Dynamite analysis for you.
Yes.
I can't believe, Alex, that you had no idea about the immaculate grids, and I had to show you that.
Yeah, I had no idea what
you must love it though. I
do.
It's so such a time waster.
Yes. No, but it's a time waster, but it's cool because it gets you thinking. It's it's like Wordle, like for people who don't know, and there's a grid and you have to pick
people know.
Player played for different teams in the boxes. I didn't know what it was, but I've seen it on Twitter or X, excuse me, like people posting the screenshots and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like I just thought I just didn't know what it was. Yeah. No, I know I could say fuck, but I just didn't know what the hell it was. You know what I mean? So I was just like, all right, well, I just kind of scrolled by and didn't think about anything of it. And then you sent it to me and I was like, oh, this is what that is. This is pretty cool.
And just making sure you understand, you want to guess guys that have a lower percentage because it brings your overall score down. So it's easy to guess, name a player that was on the Nets and Warriors, like Kevin Durant, but that would probably be a higher stakes player than Sean Livingston, for example.
I did Sean Livingston today, and then I did for Nets and Mavericks, I did Devin Harris. I wasn't going to do Jason Kidd, that's too obvious.
It's a good one.
But I got one wrong because I got Keith Van Horn's a good one. I got one wrong was the All Pro for the Mavericks. I put Jason Kidd, and I just thought that he was an All Pro at some point, or All NBA. I'm sorry, All Pro.
And he was not.
And he was not. So I had to go with Dirk because I wasted and so that ruined my score.
Which makes sense a little bit because he was young.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, he was way past his prime.
Mm-hmm. But I thought he might have gotten one early. You know what I mean? That's the
Steve
thing.
Nash.
Oh yeah,
Steve Nash.
And I couldn't think of a Jazz and Pacer. Like that was just killing me. I'm like, why can't I think of one person that played for the Jazz and the Pacers? I still can't think of one.
It was a great immaculate grid answer a lot of the times. Richard Jefferson.
Oh yeah,
very good.
Or Ish Smith. Ish Smith played for every team. We could just
probably should just put him in, plug in Ish, see what happens. Should I try it? I haven't finished yet.
No, just try Ish Smith.
You want to see what happens? I don't have the thing up because I had other tabs.
You lost it. Ish Smith is Clyde Frazier's like favorite player. Every time the Knicks play Ish Smith, he's like, Ish is shaking and baking. He just loves him for some reason. He's just like pure point guard.
Jordan Clarkson had to have been a Pacer, right?
Oh, no, I don't think so. He was Cavs, Lakers.
He was not. All right.
Yeah.
Let's try Ish.
Cavs, Lakers. I don't know where else he was. Jazz now, right? Okay.
He was not.
Now you're done.
I'm done. Oh well.
And you only get 9 guesses. Oh, you get 10 guesses?
9 guesses. You a Wordle player?
I used to play Wordle. My wife's family plays Wordle every day. They still send each other scores of stuff like that, and it's like a cool little like family bonding thing, But I do it sometimes whenever I think about it. Whenever she's playing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be fun, and then I do it.
Can I make a recommendation for them, and you can see if they like it?
Yes.
I play somebody in Wordle Golf every day.
Wordle Golf?
Mm-hmm.
What's Wordle Golf?
It's Wordle, but scored like golf, and that's how we play against each other. So, for example, and if you've made it this far in the podcast and you're interested in this, God bless you. Let me tell you my bank account.
Tiger Woods. No.
So in Wordle, the first one, if you got it on the first guess, that'd be a hole in one.
Okay.
If you got it on the second guess, it would be an eagle. If you got it on the third guess, it would be a birdie.
Okay.
4 par, 5 bogey, 6 double. If you can't get it at all, it's a triple bogey. And then what we do is we keep score for 18 of them. So if I get a par, he gets a birdie. He's -1 after 1. And we
do 18 Wordles in a day?
18 Wordles in 18 days because you can only do one a day. And then after the 18 days, we'll be like, all right, you were -1, I was +1. You won a Wordle Golf.
Can they do it in like a group of 4, or is it just head to head?
You could do it in 4 and 4. Yeah, you just have to keep track of your
if I tell them
score.
about that, they would really like that.
Wordle Golf.
Family.
I'm telling you
Wordle
right
Golf.
now, I'm changing the way people play Wordle.
So it's 18 games and then lowest score at the end, like out of those 18.
Yeah, and you score it like golf.
That is cool.
I'm making a promo
and
video. Out of this.
My father-in-law is obsessed with golf. Like he plays every day.
So he'll love this.
Yeah, he'll love it.
Give me a cell. I'll text him. Give me a cell. We'll do this off the air. I don't want to make his number public, but give me a cell. I'll text him. If I put right, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the show. No.
Yeah. Whenever you got to the Wordle segment, it's over. It's freaking over. Brooklyn Nets winners tonight versus the Toronto Raptors. The Knicks defeat the Charlotte Hornets. The Knicks advance the quarterfinals of the in-season tournament. Well, the Nets don't. Okay.
Yeah. And if you're watching on YouTube and you see me playing with this little thing here, this is called
Can't
Peeps.
see it.
It's called Peeps. And it's like something that you like clean like lenses with, glass lenses. It comes out as like a little thing here. So you like put the lens in the middle of it and you clean it. I use it to clean the lens on the laptop, and I just had it in front of me, and I just was like, while I'm on the podcast, I'm just like kind of playing with it. So if somebody might have heard to see me go like, like that's what it is. Well, it's not like a weed pen, you know.
That's all right. No, I don't care.
I'm just not. Weed pen. It's not.
That's fine if you have a weed pen. I don't care. That's why. Yeah. Okay. Well, with your background, sometimes it gets a little blurry. Like, for whatever reason, I'm not a technology guy, so I can't tell you. But for some reason, you can't see it exactly because of just the Mecca in the background.
Right.
Can't tell.
The Mecca. That's the world's most famous arena, just so you know. But yes, and Peeps is great. It's not our sponsor, but maybe it should be. We should reach out to them.
Hey, go for it, man. Your screen looks nice.
Hey, let us know if you're listening to the podcast and you want to, connect us with them. Then we'll give you a percentage.
Bad Weather Fans, episode 197, approaching number 200, which will be really cool.
Yep.
And continue. We appreciate all the support and listening to the pod. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. It's been a lot of fun. Nets winners, Knicks winners. We go into your Wednesday in-season tournament. Action continues for the Knicks, not for the Nets. Good stuff, Alex. Have a great rest of your evening.
Sorry you lost.
Hey, our loss is a win. We're going to play somebody shitty.
Finals loss to the Spurs and in-season tournament loss. It's the same level.
They went 3-1. I don't even understand why they didn't make it. They didn't. 3-1 seems pretty good.
Nobody gets it. Nobody gets it.
They're probably just making it up as they go along. Like, you want them in the Nets or Knicks? Well, the Knicks, sure. Celtics or Bucks? Both of them. Should we put in the Jazz? Absolutely not.
It reminds me of the movie Basketball, where they're like the playoffs, and they're like the.
I think I referenced that earlier in the show. Did I not say that out loud?
No, I don't think so.
Then maybe you did. I wasn't
listening. I fell asleep earlier when you were talking about in-season tournaments. So
you did. I'm going to edit that out. No one will even know that you. I could get real fancy and add in some Z's.
Yes, that'd be cool.
All right, Alex.
It's a waste of time.
We'll talk to you later. All right. Have a great night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.